Jesus writing in the dust. This might be one of the most powerful moments in the Gospels, and it happens without Jesus saying a word. In John 8, a woman is dragged into the temple courts. She's been caught in adultery. The religious leaders throw her in front of Jesus and quote scripture with precision. The law of Moses commands us to stone such women, they say. What do you say? John 8:5. And John tells us something important in the very next verse. They said this to test him that they might have some charge to bring against him. John 8:6. This isn't about justice. It's a trap. If Jesus says stone her, he violates Roman law and his own message of mercy. If he says let her go, he can be accused of ignoring the law. So everyone waits. And Jesus does something completely unexpected. He stoops down and starts writing in the dirt. No explanation, no defense, no debate, just silence. And his finger moving through dust. And that's where most people stop and say, we don't know what he wrote. But to a first-century Jewish audience, the act itself would have been deafening, because the Bible already had something to say about writing in the dust. Jeremiah 17:13 says, "Those who turn away from you shall be written in the earth, for they have forsaken the Lord, the fountain of living water." Written in the dust temporary, exposed, awaiting judgment. So while the accusers stand there clutching stones, quoting Moses, Jesus is silently turning the courtroom around. Without naming a single sin, he's placing them under judgment, and then he stands and speaks just one sentence. Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone. John 8:7. Then he stoops down again and keeps writing one by one. Stones hit the ground. One by one, the accusers walk away. Not because the law was wrong, but because the lawgiver was standing in front of them. Exodus 31:18 tells us the law was written by the finger of God. And here, in the dust of the temple courts, that same finger writes again, not to condemn, but to expose hearts. Jesus never excuses the woman's sin. He tells her plainly, "Go and sin no more." John 8:11. But he refuses to let hypocritical judgment masquerade as righteousness. This wasn't filler. This wasn't hesitation. This was authority expressed through restraint. Sometimes the loudest judgment comes without words. And sometimes grace begins with silence. And if Jesus was willing to stoop into the dirt to redirect judgment away from a sinner, it might be worth asking what he's still writing, quietly, when we're too quick to pick up stones.